Did you know it is illegal for you to buy a brand new Ford vehicle in the United States from Ford directly? You have to go through a third party dealership in all 50 states to buy a Ford, a General Motors, even a Toyota, all the legacy manufacturers. And it's because of franchise laws. The U.S. government franchise laws for car dealerships were established to protect local dealerships from potential overwhelming manufacturer power and to ensure consumers benefit from robust network of sales and service. And so there's a lot to unpack there, but let's start with the service side of things because a lot of people say, well, where are we going to get our car serviced if there's no dealerships? Well, you can look at Tesla. They sell directly from the manufacturer. They have something that looks like a dealership, sounds like a dealership, but it's not technically legally a dealership. Tesla calls them showrooms, and there's all sorts of laws and things they have to skate around depending on the state. You can't just go there and buy a car directly from them. You have to go on your phone normally and order it that way. There's all sorts of little things, but they're still not considered dealerships. Even though they sell cars and service cars and it looks and sounds just like a dealership, it's technically called a showroom. But that's despite the point. You can have manufacturers that service vehicles, and you can also have a world where we have third-party dealerships competing with each other. So the service side of things will never be an issue because the manufacturer can obviously, and they would if they could, open their own service departments and own dealerships. But instead, they don't have that option. They have to go through franchise laws and have to go through third-party companies and get the vehicles that they manufactured, serviced, and sold. So the next thing is sales. They say, well, it can protect consumers because you can go from dealership to dealership and negotiate and do all this stuff. Well, I can tell you, dealerships do nothing but add costs. They are a middleman in between the manufacturer and the consumer. If we live in a free market, the market would determine the price. It's not like manufacturers can just charge whatever they want if people just don't pay for it. It's that simple. And you're still going to have manufacturers competing with each other, so the price is going to be the price. And dealerships, again, you have more people in the middle. Do the math. So you have a lot of dealerships who add additional costs with all these fake BS fees. You guys know nitrogen-filled tires, and you know about the market adjustments over the last few years. So as soon as the dealership saw any sort of opportunity to raise prices, the dealerships did. And at the same time, the manufacturers were raising the prices too. So you had dealerships doing market adjustments, then you had manufacturers raising the MSRP every single year. But we should have a free market where we can buy directly from a manufacturer dealership and also a dealership owned by a third-party company. If they can both stay in business, obviously they should be legally allowed to sell the vehicles. But it should be up to the manufacturer, the one producing the vehicles, if they want those third-party companies to stay open. But sure, I'm pretty sure they would because they're selling more cars. That's all they care about. And a lot of people hate dealing with dealerships, the negotiation, the finding the right dealer, the dealing with all this stuff, the add-ons, walking out. The price they give you is not always the best price. It's just non-stop stuff you got to deal with buying a new car. Because people want to get the best deal, but they're at the point where there's a large majority of people that would rather just pay MSRP and buy it directly from the manufacturer with the rebates. And who knows, prices may even go lower when we have manufacturers competing with real prices because the prices you see on dealerships half the time are fake. Sometimes they rebate stack, so they add all the rebates that not everybody qualifies for. Other times they just have discounts if you finance through this company and do this. They're all playing games. At least with the manufacturer, we might see real prices. This is the price out the door. People don't understand. Most dealerships, it's not like you can just call them and say, all right, what's the price? You can get a starting point, but then you just have to keep fighting to get it lower and lower and lower because they're trying to screw you over. They're charging you more than they paid for the vehicle, and at the end of the day, they should be selling it for invoice right now. That's the kind of market we're in because there's so many cars, their dealerships are overflowing. But the other crazy part is, even if some of these dealerships go out of business, it's on the manufacturer. So they take all the risk out from the dealer. Literally, the dealership can go out of business and then the manufacturer will have to pay the bill to get all those cars back. So it's just crazy that we have all these laws from the US government to protect car dealerships. But it makes sense why. When you see how much dealerships spend on lobbying, they all put their money together, they donate to NADA and all sorts of organizations regulations, and they're not playing around. They are there to keep dealerships in business, and if you open up a manufacturer and you try to sell cars directly to the public, like Tesla did, it's going to be hard. Even Tesla had to fight some dealers in order to sell directly to the public. They were getting sued trying to sell their own cars directly to the public by dealers association. So it's just crazy what's going on. Because overall, car dealerships are not well liked in the community. Normally they screw over more people than ever. They do a lot of bad, especially a bad dealer. There's good ones out there, I guess, but they're few and far between. But the bad ones that add stuff without the customer knowing and all sorts of scummy stuff. Nitrogen filled tires, and they get the customer to pay for this and that, dealing with them on service. People are just tired of it and they want to deal directly from the manufacturer. At least make it a free market where we have the choice. Let me know what you guys think. Should we be able to purchase a vehicle directly from Ford or Toyota or General Motors if we want to? Or do you think the US government should have laws in place to protect dealerships and keep them in business where we cannot buy those cars from them if we want? Because for some reason, some people think, normally they're in the car business, they think that it's a good law and it's good because it keeps all these small businesses in business. But I'm like, are we not in a free market? Do we not want this to be a free market, guys? So let me know what you think. Have a great day and stay blessed.